are listening to the Balancing Act podcast. Here's your hosts, Jamie Wonko and Joe Vitale.
Hello and welcome.
Hey, everybody, guess what? We're officially recording.
We are? We are.
Yes,
We are,
we are.
period. Hello and welcome to the Balancing Act podcast. I'm Jamie Wonko here with Mr. Joseph Vitale.
How are we doing, friend? What's going on?
How are you, Mr. Vitale? What's up? What's new? What's shaking?
You know, nothing. I delivered a nice special package to you today. I gave you a nice case of raspberry Snapple iced tea, so it seems like you got a lot of energy in you today. So I think the caffeine has
The caffeine is
done its
hitting
match.
me up, down, left, right, and all around the town.
I hear you.
Let me just say, I heart the dessert soda raspberry Snapple.
Okay, listen. First of all,
I'm just saying, I should have Diet Snapple.
No, but it's good. You know, it's not that bad. Come on.
It's
you have
bad.
whatever.
It's
Oh,
hundreds
yeah.
and hundreds of calories. But you know what?
It's
Sometimes
150
in this
calories
world,
for a Snapple. It's 150 calories for a
I think
Snapple.
like 2 servings in a bottle.
Oh, is that 2 servings? That's why I have weight problems. Yeah.
I think.
Hey,
I
you know
don't-
what?
You know.
You know what doesn't have waiting problems? If you wouldn't wait if you called our season 3 sponsor,
Teachers Insurance Plan. You
Exactly.
know it.
Yeah,
They pick
check
up
out.
right away.
Yeah, we do. They do, as a matter of fact. So check out their website below for information and to get a quote. When I say below, I mean, of course, in our episode description. Teachers Insurance Plan, auto insurance that brings exclusive educator savings and exceptional customer care to New Jersey and Pennsylvania educational employees. And they are just a delight to talk to, very much so. So we do have some sad news to start with. For those of you that that know me, that also make fun of me, the Prius has finally met its match. My little fuel economic, sexy vehicle has met its end. It had too many failure messages on the old battery, so it is now gone and is off to greener pastures. Hopefully, it's at some parking lot upstate. Being able to frolic and roam free. But she was a good vehicle that served us very well. So, it's kind of sad to see it go. You know what I mean? Like driving away up the street,
Did it have to get
away.
towed away or was it driven away?
No, it was still running. I was just very concerned about, we were getting like battery failure messages and
The safety of, our
the
precious.
safety of it and the fact that like it was the daughter the vehicle that my daughter was driving around, and God forbid, I didn't want anything to happen. So I didn't want to put in any more money into a very, very old vehicle. So it was time for it to go. A sad day was had, a little tear was shed,
And what's replacing the Prius?
My daughter, we are leasing her a little Nissan for her to drive around in.
She's like beep beep toot toot.
Yeah, so it's.
What color is it? That's all I care about.
It is white.
That was the
is
what? That
also
was the
white.
Prius was white.
Yes,
like a
it
little
was.
sneaker.
Yeah, like a little sneaker. Everybody has a white vehicle except for me. I have the silver Jeep, but everybody else has a white vehicle.
I do have like a bit of regret about my car not being white because I got gray, like a dark, and
I like your color. I actually
I do.
The color that I like for the Jeep was what I was looking for was like that darker color gray, but in the model I was looking at, they didn't have it. So
they didn't make it.
That's why I got the silver.
You want to know something else that died this week?
What else?
Okay.
Your patience?
It's very well, that was gone a long time ago.
Yeah, listen, we're getting close to spring break, folks. It's all
my
bets
goodness.
are off.
It's crazy.
So, yeah.
So no, but I so when I moved into my classroom 4 years ago, I received like on the shelf was a pencil sharpener.
Okay.
And it just was the longest running pencil sharpener I have ever had over my entire career. Electric pencil sharpener.
You had an electric pencil sharpener that lasted for that long?
Let
That's
me tell you
ridiculous.
something. I was like, you can do magic. I really thought that it was a greater being than anything I've ever known. And I would have kids come from other classrooms to use it. I mean, it was used And teacher, oh, no.
Yeah.
We put colored pencils in it too.
Oh my God, no! I have a sign. I have a sign on the wall
No colored pencils?
that says no colored pencils. I actually, I say like, I tell kids like if they do certain things that I will place a curse upon them. Like anytime they go to bite into a chocolate chip cookie, it turns into an oatmeal raisin. Or like you go trick or treating and all you get are dots. And
oh my goodness,
dots are gross.
I gave dots away in a candy bowl challenge this week, and they were fighting over the dots. So I don't know what you're saying, but okay.
It's like
just
do they like
cool.
do they eat crayons for the flavor? Like what is going? Like that's dots
Let me
are
tell
like
you something.
Wax.
It was a hot commodity.
Like, yeah, no matter how many times you turn the pillow over, you never get the cold side. Like this is what happens if you put colored pencils in my pencil sharpener.
Well, this unicorn took colored pencils for 4 years.
Wow. That's
hundreds
insane.
of thousands of, and last week I noticed a little, like the sound was a little off.
Yeah.
And I've always been very sensitive to like certain sounds, like things that like grate my central nervous system to shreds. And I said, oh no, that doesn't sound good. And the sound got worse and louder. And I had to.
Would you do like Viking funeral where you put it on like a little raft and like shot it out?
I did throw it away, and then one of the kids was like, not to over dramatize it or anything.
You're doing something really funny, which you're playing taps. And I know my daughter won't listen to this episode, but I'm going to mention it. So there was one time my daughter confused the song Taps with the song that they play to post at the Kentucky Derby when the horses come up. So my daughter thinks that was taps, but
when I taught sixth grade social studies, we did a whole entire lesson on taps.
Most people don't know it has lyrics.
It does.
It does.
And then we just did like all Civil War music, and then
I remember that.
Like,
I remember that lesson.
Yeah, like
that
a fun,
really...
fancy, Johnny comes marching home again, hurrah! Yeah. So I did, performatively, and then one student, my response is if I'm in the middle of a song, excuse me, if they, because they want to interrupt everything, I say, excuse me, I'm not finished. I love their faces because then they're like, oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah. So
but the joke's on them because I ain't never finished.
Yeah, exactly. There's always some kind of performance. I'm going to use my jazz hands.
Oh, my goodness. And wait till you see my jazz jacket. My jazz jacket.
There's a jazz jacket? Where'd the
my jazz jacket is going to be featured in a Vitaly Wonko dance-off. Okay.
Oh.
So look to the interwebs because this is coming, people. I was going to bring it the other day and I forgot. But my jazz jacket it's something else. It just can't be described in words. You have to see. It's a visual item. You really got to get, lay eyes on it.
I should find the old windbreaker I have that my dad still wears because we affectionately call my dad Bernie because for a long time my dad
like Weekend at.
No. Oh yeah, my dad looked like Bernie from Weekend at Bernie's. And then when I explained to him that there's a dance called the Bernie, and the kids were doing it at like an 8th grade dance one year, he thought that was the funniest thing ever. Which shout out to my good buddy Chris, my goddaughter's father. My goddaughter.
Yeah,
who that is absolutely that's his favorite movie, and anytime we get together, he makes me watch it.
Weekend at Bernie's.
It's a classic.
It is a classic.
Yeah. So the second one is where he comes back from he gets possessed in Jamaica and he dances. There's a dance that the kids would do. But we call my dad Bernie because he wears this jacket and he looks like Bernie from Weekend at Bernie's, complete with the mustache and the sunglasses, the whole deal. That was his look.
You leave him alone.
Come on, we love Pops, for sure. Yeah. So what's new in your world there, Ms. Wonko? What's been going on lately?
A little bit of this, a little bit of that.
Yeah.
I wanted to, we're going to do a little catch up here.
Yeah.
Among us, among our private lives here, but I wanted to do a little catch up with the college situation because we did say that we were gonna, once we know, And by this point, you would think everybody would know, but no,
Yes.
they do
No.
not know.
They do not.
And I have to tell you, I was feeling horrible, awful, just pits about the fact that my senior still does not know what he's going to do or where he's going to go.
Well, he
And then
knows
I
what he wants to. He knows what he wants to major in. Right?
Maybe. Yeah. Yes, he
Okay.
does.
Kind
He
of.
does.
A general.
As much as any,
area.
as people say, as much as any 18-year-old can know. I mean, I did, but like, a lot of people don't, right? So, but I talked to somebody at work today. Sometimes you just think, gosh, like I really am in a terrible situation. And then you talk to someone else and So I talked to somebody that we work with today. We're down to 2 schools, really, in this like 50-50 situation. And her daughter is still having 3.
Oh, yeah.
And I thought,
if I think it's the person that we're talking about,
and they're still traveling to see.
They're still traveling to see. And these are not close schools. These are places.
These are flying places.
East Coast. They're airplane schools.
They're airplane school. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't think that she's the only one either, because I was talking to, I do some tutoring outside of here. I was talking to one of the parents of the kids that I tutor, and my kids have landed on a school, which not releasing yet, right? Because we're going to do a big reveal.
Yes.
When we have all of the things ready. And they were like, "Oh yeah, one of my coworkers is going through this, and it's maddening. Like, there's some kids that are just like, right decision. What am I doing? There's a lot of that, and I get it because it's a big decision, right? Like your son, I know, is very, very analytical, right? He's like and he looks things over and." Once, twice, and thrice, and he's looking over everything, and he's double checking. Is this the right decision? Do I want to go here? What's the cost involved? I don't know. Dorms. I'm sure there's a lot of that goes on with it.
So much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's got to be. It definitely is a stressful time.
I know. I said to him the other day, here's what I think we're gonna do. You're gonna revisit one more school. Go back.
I think that's a great idea.
Yeah, it happened to be the first school that he had ever visited.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, after now that you visited so many of them, and that was the first one, maybe you're going to look at it with a different lens than you did the first time. And we also went there in the summer. So it was, it's not always reflective of the school if you go at an off time when there's not actual kids like mulling around and hanging out
100%.
Right?
Agree. Yep.
So I said, and then we're gonna sit down and we're gonna do like just the good old fashioned pro con for the final 2, and we're gonna figure out what we think is really going to be like where you think you're going to be the happiest. And money obviously is like such a big part of the decision, but none of them are quadruple the price of another. They're all relatively like within. I mean, so it's like, okay, this one is $10,000 less than the other one. Is that a lot of money? Yes. So I don't want to sound flippant about that because it is a lot, but at the same time, I was trying to be the stand back sort of do your own thing, make your own decision. And I do think that it is just, he really does need some more like very, very specific parameters about what my belief or opinion or position is, what my husband's belief, opinion, or position is. And then he's gotta, I feel like at some point you have to trust your gut and go with it.
Yeah. I mean,
and know what that feels like.
Yeah. It's an adult decision, right? I mean, we go back to the car thing. Right, we were talking to my daughter about the car, and like, here's what we'll do, and like, we're gonna do this, and we're gonna look at that, and like, here's like, what how much do you think you could pay with what you're working this summer, what you had last summer, looking at her numbers, because like, she's contributing, but like, we're her mom and dad, we want to help, and make sure that she has something that's reliable. But even that was like a stressful. I don't know, like I don't know how many hours I'm gonna have this summer, and then like this thing and this trip and that. I'm like, okay, like even so, like that's an adult decision, and I think that certain kids, our kids, right, struggle with that like ability to make those adult decisions because they're so big and so grand, but of course when they look back at it, in 10 years, in 15 years, they're going to realize, oh, why did they make such a big deal about that? You know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
or maybe they're going to
yeah.
look back and say, wow, I really good for me to be so
yeah. Or that too.
reflective. Yeah.
Yeah.
Who knows? I said to him the other day, and this is something I kind of have really been thinking about a lot. I said to him the other day, what you have to remember about choosing a college is that once you go, so many of the people that are there really want to be there. And, for some of them, it was their backup school. For some of them, it was their reach school. For some of them, it was their dream school. For some of them, it was this is the only place I can afford, so there's going to be, but at the end of the day, you all sort of end up in this spot and you realize mostly everybody is really excited about the new adventure and the way, where their life has led them. And, and I said more people stay and are excited to be there than leave and realize oh, this isn't, it's majority and stay and are happy.
And there are people that leave,
There are, but it's not,
some of us get mono from cows.
But most of them, I think, really
know.
do. Yeah, you would know. But most of them, I think, do stay, and they do really look around and say gosh, I'm so happy and lucky to be here, and they really make the best of their new adventure. So I said, don't forget that part, because right now, and I really believe this to be true. Right now, there is a lot of the part about it that I really hate is the adult flex of saying where your child is going, or for the kids, it's wearing a sweatshirt to sort of boast or what, and not that there's not a sense of pride in that, but there is a little bit of that braggy nature of even with social media and the little squares and the pictures and where they're going and the declaration, all of those things, which I do find exciting in their own right. It's just
the bed parties.
Oh no.
Yeah,
I'm anti the bed party, but also, I can see why you'd want to do the bed party. I also see why the bed party doesn't work out very well. If you are, I don't know, I guess just because I'm sort of, there's some part of me too, especially with teenagers, that I'm still just so skeptical about social media in so many ways that. Yeah, I don't know. It's I do and I don't. But I mean, I guess YOLO and do whatever you need to do with your bed, colors and snacks and stuff.
For us, right? When we went to college back in my day,
all the way back then.
Yeah, you put the sticker on the back of your windshield of the car. That was it. You were oh, this is where I'm going to go. I remember I had this sticker that went on the back windshield. That was it. That was it. You didn't do all of these things. So you're right. That is more of a societal thing.
Yeah.
And, we said to the kids, oh, do you want to do one of those things? And their response was I kind of want other people to do it before we do it. They want more people to post their picture on the school where.
Oh, yeah. And I do enjoy looking at some of the students that I had from years ago who happened to go to our kids' high school, so I know some of them, and I feel this might be. I only have a couple more years left where I where that overlap will happen, and then I won't know any of them anymore. But the I'm thinking of the window cling, and I'm realizing I didn't have one for school, but I had one for my sorority. That I remember very distinctly in my back windshield. Yeah.
Not for your sorority, but for my fraternity. Yeah,
you might have. I mean, we were a cute crew, so maybe you did put Delta Phi Epsilon on your back windshield, just as
I did not. My Phi Sigma Sigma wife might have a little bit of a problem with that. So, back in the day. So, but yeah, I mean,
were in a fraternity.
I was, yeah.
And she was in a sorority?
Yeah, she was.
And you would mix together?
We did, but we weren't our fraternity wasn't very big, and we actually wound up merging with another fraternity as well because we were about to be done to continue ours.
Right.
We had to make some decisions. So we were very small.
Okay.
Which we
did.
Let
me tell you.
And there was some growth involved, and I enjoyed it, but I was more of the guy I was president for a little while. I was involved in I probably did more after graduation with my fraternity than I did during school because I started, going to the national conferences and doing some volunteer work and stuff like that, which I enjoyed. So
I did that too. But I'm
Yeah.
going to tell you the
my
story
wife did it as well.
as the best of the best party I ever went to.
Oh, okay.
Do you have like a best college party story ever?
Do I have like a best college party ever story?
Because this remains the best party I think I've ever been to in my life.
Yeah, I think I
Other
got
than
one.
my wedding.
Yeah.
I mean, if your wedding can be considered a party. But...
Yeah, I have one.
Okay, ready? You want to hear it?
Yeah, sure. Sure.
Let's take you back, all the way back.
Yeah.
All the way back to the spring of 1998. Doodle-doo, doodle-doo,
Yeah,
doodle-doo.
there you go. Wayne's World in the house.
It was a fraternity house
Mm-hmm.
in the really beautiful, beautiful, sprawling neighborhood of Elizabeth, New Jersey. Now, if you've never been to Elizabeth, New Jersey, you know the mansions and homes that you can find there. But it was, maybe it was Hillside. Either way. Okay. So it was a house that a bunch of boys were renting. But what they had done was they had designed an around the world party.
Mm-hmm.
And every single room in the entire house had a different theme.
Mm-hmm.
And you should be impressed. You should look more impressed than you
I'm
are.
very.
Okay.
I'm listening. I'm very impressed.
Every single room had a different theme, and there was a drink themed
Oh, that's good.
to that
Okay.
part of the world. The music, the lighting, the way they were dressed. And you went from room to room to room to room to room and were completely and totally immersed in a
That's
different
fun.
part of the world. And what I will say is like what a standout moment was they had put like screwdrivers in super soakers. And you
Wow.
were like, I mean, it was like every last detail. But it was, when I think about it, I'm like, gosh, I can't believe like that I was so young. And that was like, all those years later, there was never a party that they really, really went into it. But I will also say this about my sorority, which is still something that I'm very, very proud of, considering the date, time, like how long ago it was. It was a very serious job. There was someone whose position it was, and they would set up, especially because like we had a lot of us, like if people lived off campus, people drove.
Yeah.
And so it was someone's job to organize all of the designated drivers and who was going to be in which car. And that was something that everyone took so seriously. And and I still, such an important thing to do and to tell the kids that they, everybody's got to have a turn.
I am very happy that there was no social media, because I'm sure, and I did not attend these, but there were many a mixer theme that I was like, I don't necessarily know if that's the good idea. I stayed away from those. Have you ever thought, I work in education, why is finding a job so weirdly hard?
Yeah, scrolling through random job boards where half the listings don't even make sense is not the vibe.
That's why njschooljobs.com actually makes sense.
It's a job board built specifically for New Jersey schools, public, private, charter, and parochial.
Teachers, administrators, counselors, support staff, coaching opportunities. If your job involves a bell schedule, this site's for you.
It's free for job seekers. You can upload your resume, set job alerts, and apply without jumping through hoops.
Schools across New Jersey actively use njschooljobs.com, so these are real, current openings.
They also host virtual job fairs where you can connect with multiple districts online. No driving all over the state.
Those are coming up soon, so check the link in our episode description to register.
Head to njschooljobs.com.
Every teacher knows that the first 5 minutes of class set the tone for everything that comes after. Lesson Launchpad helps you nail those first 5 minutes without scrambling. Presentations change automatically. Timers start automatically. Music sets the mood. Agendas and reminders appear right on time without you clicking anything. You set it up once, and Lesson Launchpad runs your class in the background while you focus on students. It's like having another teacher in the classroom with you. Check out lessonlaunchpad.com to start a 1-month free trial and use the code BALANCE for $5 off a yearly subscription. If you're ready to start every class calm, clear, and ready to teach, check out Lesson Launchpad today. Because it's not things that I wanted to be associated with. And again, not that I didn't enjoy myself, but we had, the same types of things that you were doing.
Yeah. Did your
back in the
school
day.
have sororities and fraternities by like race or culture?
We did have some ethnic ones, yes.
Right. Because I remember like we would mix, like our favorite mixers were with like the Latino fraternities.
Mm-hmm.
They were like the best we would just like dance. But I was always one of those, you kind of don't know, like, is this something that happens all over? Is it like designated to like the school that I attend? Not that people didn't like sort of interlope in and out of different fraternities or sororities in that way, but I don't know. What do you think? Do you think your kids are gonna do?
I don't.
You think
know.
Greek life is for them?
I don't necessarily know.
I wonder what it looks like now. There's got to be different
it's a
parameters on it.
It's a lot different.
Yeah.
Just from some of the research and things that I've looked at in the past.
You've looked at research about fraternities?
Just from
recently?
like the changing, no, not recently, but just the changing face of it back in the early 2000s, where like you were getting insurance, dues went up to be a lot more.
Very expensive.
Yeah, because there was liability insurance that fraternities were getting due to the fact that there was hazing, drinking,
right?
A lot of that. So that was of course an expense. There are it's not really ingrained as much in East Coast schools as it is. I mean, there's no secret that my kids are going to go to a school on the East Coast, right? But I don't think Greek life is as prevalent in East Coast schools as it is like in schools down south, or the rush that you see that's hyped on social media, and the dances and the outfits and all the things, right?
I will say
certain
can
bigger
find
schools.
Yeah, you can find me in August just on Rush Talk, just scrolling and scrolling and scrolling and scrolling.
I don't think that Greek life is the same as it used to be.
Yeah, and it definitely depends on the school.
Yeah, I think that a lot of schools, there was a larger crackdown of like, quote unquote, getting rid of bad apples. We dealt a lot with that from the national fraternity level when I was doing my volunteer stuff. And again, this was years ago. Yeah, so I did a lot of stuff in working. And there are some, fraternities that are still expanding and growing, but there are others that are not, because it's I don't think a lot of schools, it's not as much of a draw to go to a school unless you're going to those schools in the South and your parents went there and it's like a legacy type of thing. I also I know my son's personality is much more reserved, and my daughter might be more involved in like student government than or like the student activities board, things like that. I think that's something she might want to get involved in.
I could see that for her, definitely.
Greek life. Yeah,
I could see that.
Yeah.
So we're still so obviously results pending.
Yeah.
Right, and we won't make our big announcement just yet.
Yeah, well, either way, like the clock is ticking, right? Because it's got to be May 1st. Like the decision has to be made by then. I mean, calendar-wise for everybody.
Calendar-wise for everybody.
Yeah, so this is going out, just at the end of March, beginning of April. So within a month, everybody's going to know, because everybody has to know, right? If you're going to make that decision, and depending on where you're going to go. So
it's very exciting.
Yeah, it is. It's very exciting.
It's very. I have to tell you, there's been several times in the last couple of weeks where I've thought, gee, this would be really nice if this was the only stressful thing in my life.
Yeah.
I would love that.
Yeah.
It would be so nice if all I had to think about was buying 8th grade dance dresses and where he's going to college, right?
Yeah, a lot of things going on behind the scenes. Behind the Wizard of Oz curtain in the life of the balancing act. How
are you balancing it? Nobody knows.
For one particular host more than the other.
She would be me. I am she.
Yeah, she is she. My dad has had some health issues and some surgeries recently. Things are well. I've had a little bit of a black cloud over some friends of mine experiencing some loss, which has been a little bit difficult. But you've always talked about you don't want to compare traumas, but like the things, like I am worried about you and for many of the things that you are going through, you and your family, for that sake.
Thank you. I would like to not. What I would like is one whole month where like nothing happens. I would like that, but that's not life, right? So like that's not really how things go.
No.
But I also am, always trying to be grateful for some cool the experiences. And also, I think I've gotten really like scary good at compartmentalizing like things that are happening. So I just actually had a talk with my dad right before we hopped on here today, and I said to him, like, I'm basically I'm at Tara and it's Gone with the Wind, and it was like, I'll think about that tomorrow. Like I was like, I just can't, and by tomorrow I mean like in an hour when I'm done recording the podcast. There's just so many things. But I do want to say one thing, like, and not because Jason's parents' situation is like his own story, so I won't really share that here, even though we've had some difficulties from the Wonko side of our family. But here is something that I will find that I'm going to say, basically, because we have talked about my mom before, like being sick and having a very long-term illness, and there are some things that are fascinating to me about someone that has a long-term illness, or people's like interest or lack thereof in when someone has a long-standing illness, a debilitating disease, degenerative, no, she can't get better, no, it won't get better, yes, it will only get worse, I've had people say this to me. I've had them say it to my husband, like other members of my family, like, oh, is that still going on? And I know, because it's ridiculous.
Everybody, I just want to make this announcement.
Someone just said that to my husband last week at work about my mom. Is that still going on?
When I laugh,
because it's my delivery. I get it.
It's also out of like being uncomfortable because I don't know what to say. Like, it's like it's so reductio ad absurdum. Like, it's just absolutely an absurd, flawed logic to think that way.
Yes, so. Except that it is pretty common, and I just think that it does speak to how uncomfortable people are with their feelings, with understanding struggle, with empathy. And I hope I still have it. I actually want to read something because we have a good friend of the pod and a wonderful supporter, listener, who wrote to me last week. And I told her that I will, it doesn't matter how old I get, and God willing, it'll be, a long time. I will always remember her words, like, at this time and in this moment. And really she said, I think it's a societal thing where we're trained to move off of grief. Now I'm reading from her message. To move off of grief or sadness very quickly. We recognize that people are going through something and we keep moving, but there are people who realize that this is a very long road and it's not just a sad moment. Those people do exist. The ones who don't get it just don't get it. And maybe they'll eventually learn, like, with their own issue or my issue or your, or hope, or maybe they'll never understand. Right. And it was so important to me to hear that and to have someone share in that. And she's going through a very similar struggle with an ailing parent as well. And, when people make certain decisions, you say, I'm going to do this or I'm going to do that. And you just sort of hope that you're doing the right thing or the best thing. And one thing, I just said it to my dad today, and it is something that I have said to him, like, throughout this journey, because it's been my son's entire high school career. My mom has been ill his entire 4 years of being in high school. So she has been,
which is just crazy to think about,
completely bedbound, unable to walk, unable to bathroom, unable to feed herself, unable to brush her own teeth. Like, she has needed 24-hour care, to which my father has dedicated every minute of his life to doing. And he has done it impeccably, with grace and with devotion and, a meticulous nature that the most highly trained people could not rock a diaper, Meta-Honey, change, wound care like my father, who was a principal and had nothing to do with anything medical, right? But the idea of, like, the length of time, and which is always wild, right? Like, of how quickly sometimes time goes or how slowly it goes. But the, people who have reached out and the people who, are balancing situations like this, and, and people have said like, well, how do you do that? And I think like, how does anybody do anything?
Yeah.
Some people do it selfishly and they don't do it or face it at all. And some people do it with, an open heart, mind, and do as best as they can. Right. And so for a lot of us, it's like, we're just doing our best. And I have to say, for as much as we say about the kids of, oh, I know what I was going to say. I said to my dad, and it's something I say over and over again. She is my mother, but I'm 3 people's mother. And so as much as I look and turn to her and do what I need to do as her child in devotion to her as my mother, is as much as I need to do in devotion to the 3 children that I have that are looking at me as their mother, looking to me, I should say. But, I think everybody just does the best job that they can in the ways that they are able, and all of us are built a little bit differently, so it doesn't mean that one person is better or grand or anything like that. I sometimes worry about like the after effects for me, because it's been such a forward motion of doing and doing and doing and doing, and I wonder sometimes like what that's going to look like, because anticipatory grief is one thing, and then there's grief which is a whole other situation to bear and to deal with. But, I don't know. I've been really fascinated by the people on the internet that are, everybody, social media, this, that, and the other. But there have been so many caregiver stories and so many resources of people that I follow now. I follow a group of people that are caring for people who have the same disease that my mom has, which is parasubnuclear palsy, PSP. And that has been a wonderful resource. So one of the kids said to me, like, they were going to do something for debate club about like the effects of social media, and is all social media bad? I said, well, nothing is all bad. Nothing is all good. That's a big part of life, right? Of figuring out where the in-between is. And I guess that really does speak to our ability to balance, right? And finding that finding that like middle ground. But I was so grateful to her for reaching out and sharing some of her own struggles, and, and saying like, look, not everybody knows, or maybe it's a greater societal issue of like how much people can express or handle, rather than being angry that someone says like, is that still happening?
Yeah. I think also, you said about as much mothering as you're doing, or as much as you're doing for your mom, you also have to do for your own children.
Right.
But what your own children are also seeing while they're watching you in this moment, they're learning about the family dynamic. They're learning about, what a supportive marriage looks like, what a supportive child for their ailing parent looks like. They're learning all, like, it's being soaked in. Like, they're looking and they're seeing and they're observing how you're handling these situations.
Yeah.
And they're figuring out, I know in your case, I know in your case that they're soaking up all the good things that you were doing. They're not looking at it and saying, "Oh, I wouldn't handle it that way." Like they're learning.
Yeah. No. I mean more of like in a perspective.
Yeah.
Or like
course.
in a protective lens, like when it comes to the kids, of like how much I, try to divide my time between everybody. But like recently, my dad said to Jason, which wasn't necessary, but I'm trying lately to find, like, to sort of fill my cup a little bit with saying, when there's so much negativity in the world, I'm trying to say, like, and really genuinely recognize when something is good and positive and helpful. And instead of like talking about the things that are not working, I'm trying to really like put light on the things that are. Yeah. And so my dad recently came to our house, which doesn't happen very often because he can't get away. But he said to Jason, like, I want to thank you for letting Jamie and always making it easy for her to come to be with us.
Mm-hmm.
And it would not be possible, like me being away from my family as much as I have would not be possible if it wasn't for my husband doing everything while I wasn't here, never saying, I can't believe you're leaving again, or where are you, or we need you, or, or always saying, you're amazing. I don't know how you do this. All of these like positive affirmations of things. And, and so it was like such a sweet moment to know that like my dad was thanking my spouse for his role in our whole entire, what has become like such a big part of our lives for such a long time. And, and after a while, it does become a routine, like in the beginning, it's sort of like, how am I going to, and then it's just like, oh, of course mom's not here. It's Friday and Saturday. Like, of course she's going. And, and we know where you are and what you're doing. And to the point where if I am home, they're like, what are you doing here? Like, why are you home today? That kind of a thing. So I feel like I'm really proud of them, and I'm trying as best as I can to show like those levels of appreciation rather than people who didn't show up or never visited or any of those things.
Like we did our little New Year's thing where we had our pieces of paper and we burned all the stuff, and mine was appreciation over criticism, right?
Yes.
I'm trying to focus on the same types of things.
Yes.
Not only in my personal life, but in my professional life as well, trying to point out with like the students that are in my class, I'm like, hey, I appreciate you doing this, or it was very, it was noticed by me that you did A, B, and C. Like I try to focus on those things instead of focusing on, the negative that happens, but that's a good perspective for you.
Right.
And you've talked often about your husband and the, how supportive he is, but at the same time he knows how to throw in a well-timed fart joke to get you to
oh my goodness,
to get you to laugh and
it's so true. He knows how to diffuse my, like the minute I start to like he will make a ridiculous statement,
again,
and then I'm just totally
again we go back to the sand incident where it was like, oh, that must have been awful for you. Like I've never witnessed a relationship in a boiled down moment ever before, which by the way has become like it's like a tagline in our house because we were all there for the story. What I'm referring to
it must have been awful for you.
Very simply, we were at the beach and Jamie was laying there and her nephew picked up the like hood of her chair and got sand all over her, and it was in her eyes and it was in her down
in
her
my
shirt.
Ear.
It was in her ear. It was in her mouth, and she immediately got up and ran into the ocean, and it was like she literally jumped over her husband to get into the ocean and came back. And Jason was like, "Oh, where did you go?" And she was like, "Jason."
Oh my God, that's how I say it too. Jason.
Like, Jason, didn't you see that, like, I had sand, and it was in my hair, and it was in my ear, and it was down my shirt, and, like, I had to go jump in the ocean. And he just went, oh, my God, that must have been awful for you. And then you laughed exactly like you're laughing right now. And, like, that moment, like, I literally said out loud, like, that's your marriage. Like, your marriage is literally that. It's like, you basically on fire, the dog on fire sitting at the table, I'm fine, everything is fine. And Jason coming in and going like, hey, I guess it's not so bad. I threw out your raspberry iced tea, huh? And then like you just move on with your life. And you're laughing because you know that I'm 100% right.
You are as right as anyone has ever been in the world.
And that's where I've been, not in the same way, but that's where I've been a lot with my wife recently. Like we've just been in this place where like we could just laugh about little things and be supportive of one another and just, I mean,
you got to long haul it. I always see marriage is like, for me, the person is witnessing your life. And they are the witness to all of the good and all of the bad and everything in between. And, some of the things I think that have happened to us in the last month or so, we've said, no one would believe this. Like, no one would believe this. I'm so glad you were here to see it so that I know that it happened. And,
and we also go and, not to disclose, about, certain details and stuff like that. But I remember you saying to your husband, like, hey, we did this for you.
Yes.
Right? Like the kids did this for you. My dad did this for you.
Yes.
I did
my
this
sister,
for you.
Everybody.
My sister, like everybody did this for you.
Yes.
And it's like one of those things like yeah, I know he knows, but saying that in that moment is also important for somebody else to hear.
That's right.
Because, you know, my wife and I have had these conversations every once in a while, especially like, you know, I'm so supportive by what you do and you know what you're going through, and you know it's that we're a team and it doesn't go unnoticed. Like,
yes,
it might seem like, again, like placating statements, but they're important to say to your significant other.
I mean, as the kids say, it's glazing, but no.
Yeah, it's not.
It's not. Because
It's not.
people really do. We need to hear that. We need to hear it. You know what else we need to hear, Joe?
What do we need to hear?
What else do we need to hear?
We need to hear about our season 3 presenting sponsor and how awesome they are. Is that what we need to hear about?
We do. You know it. Season 3 is brought to you by our presenting sponsor, Teachers Insurance Plan. Check out their website. For more information, give them a call to get a quote. Teachers Insurance Plan, auto insurance that brings exclusive educator savings and exceptional customer care to New Jersey and Pennsylvania educational employees.
Yes.
Yes. Well, this was cathartic. And
I hope so.
Yes, it was. Thank you very much.
Yeah. We got some cool stuff coming up in future episodes.
Yes, we do.
Coming up in the month of April. You know, we're definitely looking forward to the journey with you guys, and we'll see everybody next time on the Balancing Act podcast. I appreciate you, friend.
I appreciate you too. Bye.
And yeah, we'll see everybody next time.
Look for the Balancing Act podcast every week on your favorite podcast platform. New episodes drop every Tuesday. Thank you for being a part of our audience. We appreciate you.